Hello. I'm trying to decide if I can. I always feel like my camera is like in my face, so I'm trying to find a good way to like have it without being in my face. Okay. Hi, Giselle. Okay, so today we're gonna do some chain stitch. So first we're gonna do our stems, and then we'll come down and do our tree stump. So let's start there. I'm trying to decide if I need a lamp on. That helps a little bit. Okay, so hi Jess. Thanks for doing an evening live. Yes, I am planning on doing one next week as well. I'm just trying to decide what day. So depending on how many people show up tonight, I might do 2 next week. I was gonna try and do 2 this week, but it's May and my kids have like 1,000 things, I swear, in the evenings. It's the end of the school year rush. Okay, so chain stitch, we are going to use the DMC 701. Is that on the video? 701, it's kind of the medium colored green. There's one lighter and one darker. So this is the medium. That's what we're gonna go with tonight. Okay, so we're gonna use 3 strands tonight. So for anyone that wasn't here last time, I like to find my 3 and 3. Whoop. And then I have one hand that holds those and one hand that just untwists. And just don't go too fast because then it gets knotted, but that will get all twisted. And then you can untwist some more. Some people also like pull out one strand at a time. You could totally do that if you wanted to. Okay, so on these stems, I'm gonna show you a reverse chain stitch, and then down at the bottom, I will do a regular chain stitch. But we are going to do a reverse chain stitch on the top. All right. Hello, Jana. Welcome, welcome. Alrighty. Okay, so 3 strands of DMC 701 for a reverse chain stitch. So what we're gonna do is, normally we would start at the end of where you're gonna be stitching, but since we're doing a reverse chain stitch, we're gonna go up a stitch and then work our way backwards, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and out of this same hole. Just be careful when you're going back down because you have a knot right here. So just make sure you don't like grab onto it when you're going back down. And then we're gonna leave this little loop here and we're gonna come up at the end of our stitch inside the loop, pull the loop snug, and then we're gonna go down on the other side of the loop so it tacks that strand down. So then we have like this little loop, okay? So then we're gonna go up our next stitch. We wanna keep our stitch lengths, the same length. So keep that in mind as you're working. And then what we're gonna do is instead of going back down, we're gonna go underneath of our stitches, okay? And that's how we're gonna make our chains. So now that we're through this chain, we're gonna go back down in that same hole to create our link. We have room for like 2 more. So I'm gonna come up, I'm going to weave under this one stitch and then back down in that same hole that we came up in. So you could use more strands on this if you wanted to. I want them to be a little bit daintier, but if you want, you can use 4 or 6 strands or whatever to make those stand out a little bit more. Okay, so there we go. We have some cute little stems. All right, I am going to tie this off because I don't want my strand to go to the next one. So I usually just grab some thread from the back and just tie a little knot. Okay, so with reverse chain stitch, you can also, we're gonna start at the top and go to the bottom. It will look the same, it'll just be the other way. So these loops are going this way, and we're gonna have this one. There's somebody outside my house. We're gonna have these loops coming this way. So same thing, we don't start at the top of our stitch. We start down a little because we're gonna do it reverse. So we're gonna come, oh, hold on, I didn't tie a knot. I got distracted by the truck parking in front of my house. Hopefully they don't knock on my door because they can see me sitting here not answering it. Anyways, so we're gonna go in and out of that same hole. Watch out for your knot. Oh, good. The truck is going to the neighbor's house. Oh, see, I accidentally grabbed it. So if you just push that down, then your knot's right there. Whoops. And then it'll be fine. You can just pull it tight, but try not to do that. Okay. So I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna loop inside, and then we're gonna tack that down. And then we'll do our next one. Sorry, we're a little bit shadowy at night. I don't have as good of light. All right, there is our second one. And because our thread is gonna go from here to here, it'll be covered up by the roof. So I'm just gonna come on down here and start this next one. I mean, it'll be mostly covered by the roof, not all the way, but let me, hold on. Woo, that's bright. Reverse chain stitch is one of my favorites, and I prefer it very much over a regular chain stitch. But I have learned to enjoy a regular chain stitch in certain circumstances. But like if I'm gonna do like lettering or something with chain stitch, it will be a reverse chain stitch. This stem is getting twisted, and I'm okay with that. Okay, not quite straight, that's okay. All right, we ready to move on from this? Oh gosh, look at this. Ah, oh man. All right, well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tie it into this knot and then I can trim it. There we go. Happy accidents, right? We've got a lot going on right there. All right. Okay, so where? This does not stick very well on here. Maybe, I wonder. Ooh, that's better without the back. Okay, so let's move down. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we will move down to here. I'm going to use both colors, both of the browns, so 938 and 433. I'm going to mix them and do some chain stitch. So we are going to get a little bit crazy. Let me see how much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure these together before I trim them so that they're the same length. And I've been trying to decide. I think I want to do different thicknesses because this is tree bark and it's not all going to be uniformed. So what we're going to do is take 3 of each color. So we have 6 threads in our needle, but we'll just have 3 of each color. So then we can have some different colors going on. Okay, so if there's 3 of the 433 and 3 of the 938. Okay, so we're just gonna put these in the needle together. And then tie them together down at the bottom. Whoop, that didn't work like I wanted it to. Oh my gosh. That does not want to tie. Okay. All right, so with a regular chain stitch, we are going to just start at the beginning and work our way over. So we are going to go on this curve with our chain stitch, okay? So with a chain stitch, we start at the end. We don't start up a stitch like we did before. So we're gonna go in and out of that same hole. Keep our loop. Then we're gonna come up inside of our loop. Pull it snug. So now we have this loop with our string in it. So we're gonna go back down in that same hole that we just came out of. And keep our chain that way. Hold on, this is falling out. Hold on. I didn't have it snug enough in there, so now it's falling out. Okay, that will be better. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna pull that snug and then we're gonna go back down in that same chain. And just keep going. So, depending on how long your stitches are, it's just gonna create a different look. So if you want kind of some open space, you can do them bigger, you can do them closer together and there will be less open space. I am planning on doing some of my chains longer like these are and then some of them shorter, just because I want to give it kind of some different texture. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm also planning on not doing all of it with both browns. So I will use like just the dark brown and just the light brown on some of them, like on some of the stripes maybe. I haven't decided. Maybe that won't be good. I don't know. But anyways, when we get to the end, I will show you how we're gonna finish this. Whoop. And sometimes I move this loop out of the way so I can kind of see where I'm coming up, and then I loop it over the top. Because sometimes I need to see where I'm going with things. Okay. Something's going on here. We have a situation. I am not 100% sure what happened. I think one of my threads came out of the needle. And now I have some weird bunching. Oh, look, that thread broke. Well, that's not good. Hold on, gotta figure out what happened here. Oh my gosh, we have a huge situation. Okay, I'm gonna see where it broke and then I can trim it. I wonder why that happened. Just pull out a few of these stitches and then we'll go back. What browns were they again? Just now getting to this part. They are 938 and 433. So you can look at those for a second while I figure out what my thread is doing here. Oh, come on. This thread is not happy with me. Jeez. Okay. Let us try again. Oh my gosh. Getting flustered now as everyone watches me struggle with this thread. Okay. All right. Okay, moving those out of the way. All right, I think we're back on track. I just lost a little bit of thread, so I'm gonna have to get some before I thought I would have to, which is fine. Okay. Whoops, I pulled that way too tight. So you could also leave these a little bit loose if you wanted to. It'll just make them look a little bit messier, which is totally fine. I mean, this is tree bark. This is a really good space to practice chain stitch. What do you need? Okay, go. My kids were sent outside and told not to come back inside. But didn't happen. This is a great space to practice chain stitch in because it's okay if it's messy because it's tree bark. So it's not meant to be like perfect. This is lettering. It matters a little bit more because, you know, you're trying to get all of it to look the same. But with tree bark, it doesn't matter if it is. So you can practice making them perfect, but if they're not, then it's just not a big deal. So don't stress about it if it's not. I mean, I wouldn't stress about it anyways, but this is meant to be fun. And if it's not fun, then you got to give yourself a little bit of grace to get through it. Okay, this is going to be our last chain stitch. Before I get some more thread, I'm like running out of room. I'm holding on to this because underneath it's really short. So if I don't hold on to it, I'm afraid it'll get lost. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we're at the end of our chain stitch, we're just going to tack this down so that our chain doesn't unloop. Okay, so that ends the stitch. So normally we would do this at the end over here, but because we need to get more thread in our needle, I've ended it there. So that's the same as how we started with the stems. We're just going to tack it down and leave it, and we're going to get some more thread here. Look how fun the back is, though. I think the back of embroidery is sometimes just as cool. Especially, I wonder if I'm teaching it this time. I don't think I am. Like a fly stitch is so awesome on the back. It's like one of my favorites. Okay, this is garbage. This is garbage. I am not one to throw away threads, but man, that thread it needed to go. It was not good. Okay. I get out the rest. So I still have my other 3 from both colors. Okay, so we're gonna go again. I felt like this needle minder, this is one from Beck's Stitches, was just so perfect for this cute little flower for our fairy garden. You can look at it while I thread my needle. If you're new to embroidery, a needle minder it's got a magnet on it, so then your needle just sticks to it. It doesn't get lost. Normally I have it like stuck. It has like a backside, so you can like stick it to your fabric, like the magnet holds it in place. But I have a little one on my stand. So anyways, all right, so we're gonna continue on with our chain stitch. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna come up in that same place where we ended it and just continue on like normal. So we're gonna go in and out. But don't get your knot like I did up at the top, because we all know how that ended. So the reason why I like chain stitch for down here instead of up at the top is because in a minute, we're gonna start going this way with our chain stitch so that we can fill this space. And if we were doing reverse chain stitch, then we would be trying to weave around stitches that are already there, which we kind of want to avoid. So, so that we don't snag anything. And reverse chain stitch it's just harder to do if you've got stitches next to it. So this makes it a little bit easier. This is like the only time I'll use a regular chain stitch is if I'm doing them side by side. So if you were here for the terrarium stitch along, we did this for the moss on that. All right, so now we're at the end. So we're gonna do the same as we did before, and we're just gonna tack that down on the other side of our loop to hold our chain into place. Okay, and then we're gonna make our way back across this. So I'm just gonna come up right here, and to kind of give this like a different feel, I'm gonna try and come up halfway between, like I want our stitches to be kind of the same length, but I don't want them to just lay side by side. So I'm gonna come up halfway through the next stitch. So right here, and then back down, and then halfway again, and we'll just do that all the way across. So other things you could do if you wanted to get some different texture, you could use less strands, you could use more strands. Like if you wanted to do 6 of each color, so you had 12 strands in your needle, you could do shorter stitches, longer stitches. You could throw in a stem stitch in here. Even like halfway through here, I'll show you what I mean. Like if you wanted to go like this and then tack it down and then come up inside your loop, you could come and just do a stem stitch like we did for the center of our flower up top. So then you could come up here and then go down here. So that would just give it like some little spots that are like different textures. Okay, if you wanted to do that. So the only problem is now that I've done that, I don't know how to start my chain. I have to do a reverse. I will show you why reverse with stitches next to it is a bad idea. How about that? Okay, so we're gonna go here and then we're gonna tack it down over here. And then we'll work our way backwards. But now we have to weave through those stitches, which is totally doable. Like you can do it. It just, you have to think a little bit more about it and like pay attention, which is fine. So if you want to do it this way, you can. I'm just throwing it out there that it's a little bit more. And like that time I grabbed more than just this one. I grabbed some of it next to it. But it's also the tree stump, so I'm not even worried about it. But it's a little harder to like make it like nice and even. So this is gonna take you a little longer than the top did, but that's why I'm saying like maybe use this as like a sampler kind of an idea and practice with different thread amounts, like using, you know, do a line with 3 strands or do a line with 12 or whatever, just so you can kind of practice and see what you like using. And maybe you really like reverse, and so you're just gonna do that and ignore my instruction, which is fine as well. But this is a good opportunity to try out some stuff. Like, do whatever, get a little crazy. I'm just gonna come to the end of this, and then I'm gonna let you be on your own to kind of do what you want. I might even go back with just one color of brown, and like after we learn French knots, you could go in and just like put in a couple of French knots, like give it some little knots in the wood. Anyways, you could get all kinds of crazy if you want. Or you don't have to. Okay, perfect. Look how much thread I've got left. Woohoo! All right, so I plan on doing this part in brown as well, but I think I'm going to do a stem stitch. Maybe I'll do that really quick, just so you can see. Whoops. Oh, I took my needle out before I tied it. Okay, so if you don't want to grab threads with your little needle there, you could also do this. I just split the threads in half, so I've got 3 in each finger, and then I just tie a knot with those, and then I double knot it. So that's another way you could tie that off. Okay, so we're just gonna do just the edge of it because we're gonna fill in like all of this. We just want the edge of the trunk just so we can see where it goes, or you don't have to if you think that that sounds awful. Let me just see what I decided. So the house is going to be mostly the 433, the lighter brown. So I'm going to do the outline in the 938 so that they don't like blend together, because it's going to meet together right here. Okay. And I don't want this to be super thick. I just want there to be an edge. So I'm going to use just 3 strands and just do a stem stitch around that edge. Okay. That needle doesn't want to thread. There we go. Okay. And really, like, a lot of it's going to be covered up, like over here with these and right here. I'm still going to put it the whole way across because that's just how I am. I always worry, like, what if you can see a little bit of it and it's not covered completely, and then it just stresses me out. So I'm just going to go all the way around with a stem stitch. This is what we did on the flower centers. So we're just making a stitch and then we're keeping our loop out to the side. We're coming up in the middle of it, pulling it snug, and just keep going with that. Whoop. And we want to keep our loop on the same way every time. So if we're doing something rounded, we want it to go to the outer edge of the circle. So like we wouldn't want to hold it this way because then it doesn't follow the circle the right way. Okay, and then because the house will be filled in, I'm just gonna take my needle and thread here and just go across and finish this. Because the house will be filled in, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay. And just do that all the way to the edge. And that's all I have for you tonight. So tomorrow we are going to do the roof. We're going to do the roof. It's a brand new stitch that I've never taught before. It's called a ray stitch. So make sure you have your marking utensil. We're gonna make some shapes in here to create a fun little texture for this roof. So anyways, I will see you tomorrow. I will be back in the morning tomorrow, so 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, we will go from there. I am going to take my kids for a walk and then see how much of this I can finish before tomorrow. It might not be all of it, which is okay because it's at the bottom, so we can work on it whenever we want. So, all right, thanks for coming, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.